put some names on these fun popsicle holders. Hi, I'm Angie with Cutting Edge Quilter, and today I want to give a little bit different video because it's not going to be about quilting, but I do other, I've talked about it before, I do other crafts with my silhouette. With summer being here, we love to give our grandkids popsicles when they come over. I've talked about this in other videos. We have 5 grandkids, and I think it was a TikTok video the other day saying how they use these little holders for those popsicles, because what we use is usually just paper towels when they come over. So I thought I'd purchase some of these as well. I mean, I could probably buy the fabric and sew them up, but I think they were only like $10 or $11 for 12 of these on Amazon, and I'll put the link below of where I got these. But I asked my daughter-in-laws what the kids' favorite color is, so I'm gonna personalize these with each of their favorite colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and put their names on each of those. I am going to try to make this as quick as possible. It's very hot, 85 degrees here, and while I'm filming, I can't use my air conditioner, so hopefully it doesn't get too hot. Also, my heat press is on because I'm going to use that, so we're going to try to make this quick. And if you see the band-aid on the thumb, we did get a slicer to slice some squash that we got from the garden, and I wanted to slice it up because I'm going to bread it and just put it in the freezer. But of course, trying it out, I sliced my thumb too, and it's not a very bad cut. I just didn't want to get blood on the material. So I've got the Silhouette Studio pulled up, and what I'm doing now is getting all my the fonts that I want, and I need to size them to the size of these little sleeves. So I measured the sleeves, and it was about, you want to measure kind of on the inside, so don't measure just exactly the size, because you want to get a little bit of room. So measured it around 4.5 and to 1.5 height. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight all of these and make them do the color so you can see them. So go over to I like to use this over the right hand side for the color, just so I can see it better. So let's try to get the fonts that we want. You want it to look like this with the green bar to the side, and then you highlight them. And then on the right hand side here, you open the text style panel, and there's all the fonts that are on here. Plus, if you purchased any or had any to use, you could go here and use those. So let me see if I can find a good one. We don't want to, I'm thinking just the Arial Black. We don't want to swishy, because we want to be able to tell the name of them. Look at the bold. These fonts some of them are already in here. What I also like to do to be able to see the fonts all together is I go to Chrome, and I have a add-on or extension on Chrome. It's called the Wordmark Font Sync. And then you type a phrase. I don't pay for the Pro account. I just do the words here, and you can type in whatever word you want, and then hit enter or click that, and it'll show you all the fonts that you have on your computer in that name, so you can see which one you like the best. Let's see. Like I said, I don't want too much of a swish, so you can read them. since I don't pay for it, you get ads. So that's the reason why it pops up like that. And I'm just going to go with the regular. If you see some like this that has the little lines, let's see if I can okay, there we go. And it has little lines, that's going to be a little bit harder for I mean, it'll cut it out, it'll just take a lot longer. And when you weed it, it just takes a little longer to weed because it has those little lines there. I think I'm going to go with Georgia Bold. I like that. So I'll go back to my Silhouette Studio, and I can type in up here Georgia Bold. So it's on Georgia. And then you click on that, and then bold. So that's what it's going to look like. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to do all of them like that with Georgia Bold. I want to make sure they all look the same. Now I'm going to go ahead and size them the way I need it. So about 4.5 by 1.5. We'll start with this one. And if you can see, it has a pretty big space right here. I may go ahead and make compound path, and I don't know if you could see, but it kind of decreases that so you know the exact width that it's going to make. So I'm going to go to 4.5. So what I just do is drag this little box here on the side to where, see, it has the arrows like that. When you do it like that, it won't distort the image. So we'll get close as we can to 4.5. It doesn't have to be exactly. And then that's 1.047. I think that'll be perfect. So let's go ahead and start with next one. I'm going to move these down a little bit. Now hers is a kind of a long name, so I'm not for sure if we'll be able to do the whole name, because it's going to be pretty small. Let's make compound path. Yeah, see, that's going to be pretty small. So what I may do is, whoops, go ahead and release compound path, and we call it char. So let's do it by our nickname. Okay. So we'll go with 4.5 here. And you can also, if you want to, you can type in right up here instead of doing this. It's just easier for me instead of going up here to type there, because I don't need the exact numbers. So there's 4.5. That makes sure that's not past the 1.5 mark, and it's not, so we're good. So yeah, that's how I get started with them. And what I will do is I'm going to probably put them all as white vinyl. So I'm just going to put them around like this, and they'll cut it all for me. I'm going to see what kind of, I'm going to line up my vinyl with my mat here to make sure I have enough. But that'll work with my vinyl the way I like to get together, but you don't want it too close together because then it's hard to weed. So get as much as possible just to save the vinyl. So I have that, and now in order to send it, we're in the design right up here, up at the top. And in order to send it, you would do send. I'm going to go with carriage 1. I'm going to change this to vinyl HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl is what that means. Let's see, my heat transfer will be smooth. Nothing fancy. It says awaiting connection. I don't have it hooked up to my Silhouette. That's why it says that. So I'm going to use my 1mm blade that I have. I find it a little bit easier than the auto blade. For some reason, auto blade works sometimes it doesn't. But I do got to give one quick before I send this. You can send it, and then when you hit send, which is not going to do it because I don't have my everything hooked up. When you hit send, it usually says send as in is or mirror. I kind of like to mirror first, just so I know that everything's going to look the way I want it. So in order to mirror, go over to your right hand side here and see this little, it says open the replicate panel. It's like a little, several different lines here. And then you make sure that all of this is highlighted, and where it says mirror right here, just mirror one way or the other. And then I'm going to delete this. Make sure these are all highlighted. It's a little extra step that you really don't have to do. But I usually do it anyway because I want to make sure that my vinyl is exactly the way I want it to be. And then once I get my silhouette hooked up, I'm going to send it. And on this, you do want to make sure that it is with the red, because this carriage 2 is blue, and I have my rotating blade on there for fabric. So I'm just going to strictly use my carriage 2 for fabric. So carriage 1 is for vinyl, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And once I send that, I will show that to you, and then I'll show you how to put that onto your project. So now that you've seen how I enter all of the information, I put the words and everything into the design studio, I'm going to go ahead and put my HTV. This is called HTV for heat transfer vinyl. I'm going to load this onto my mat and load it into my Cameo. When you purchase HTV, this mat is 24 by 24, so it's big. When you purchase HTV, then it's usually like, I think 12 inches from one side to the other. But what I'm going to do is just put it in like this, and on the just sideways. This side is there's a side that's very shiny, and what that is, it's on the front of it, it has like a I'm not sure, just something that you're going to peel off there. And then the other side is not as shiny. You want to put this side, the one that's not as shiny, up, so that way the silhouette can cut it. So that's what I'm going to do. Now when I weed, this is called weeding, when I'm taking off everything but the part that I need to put the design down onto the fabric or whatever I'm using. I have all the fancy like tweezers that come with it, things like that. But I had purchased these tweezers, I don't even remember where, at a hairdresser's, I think, and they got paint on them and everything, but these are my favorite ones. So I mean, use whatever you like the best. What I do is typically, I like to go, I don't want to go down, straight down, so I typically go to the side, and I cut off what the pattern, the size that the actual design is, because I don't want to have to weed all of it and have some waste. So then I kind of just pull it, get all the big stuff off there first, and then go in with the tweezers. And this little band-aid's not helping either, so. And you can't see it, but and like I said, you can't see it probably from that camera, but there you can see the lines where it's been cut, and that's what I'm looking at to weed it. I have in my Amazon, well, my resources page on my website, I have a little storage holder. You just put the weeded parts in, and then you empty it out every once in a while. I need to actually purchase that for myself. I don't have that, but it looks very nifty. I usually just put them to the side and then throw them in the trash later. Or if I have the trash handy, I'll put them in the trash while I'm doing it. Another trick whenever you're weeding is to get a piece of tape. It can be scotch, it can be duct tape, it doesn't matter, and kind of roll it up on each other and stick it on your table, and then whenever you weed part of it, just put it on that tape. I do that every once in a while. I should have done it now, but I didn't think about it before I started this project. But it's easy to just put it on the tape, it sticks to it, and then just throw the tape away. You don't have to worry about all that mess everywhere. Okay, so I think I've weeded everything, and I'm going to show you why you do backwards mirrored. Is because whenever you turn it this way, if you see, it's not mirrored. It's exactly the way you need it to be, and I'll press this down with my heat press. Okay, now it's time to put the vinyl onto this on my popsicle holders. What I did first was I put these on the heat press and I pressed them for just a couple of seconds just to get all that, if there's any moisture in there, get that out of there, so that way it will have my letters, my vinyl will be on there better. I'm going to go ahead and cut these out because I'm going to do individual. Okay. So I cut everything up, all the letters, and I kind of stuck them, just eyeballed it, and stuck them onto these popsicle holders. And like I said, I eyeballed it just to make sure that if it's straight. If I was going to do this professionally and sell these, I would make sure I would have a ruler and everything and make sure everything's straight, but I don't think my grandkids mind that much. So I'm going to take these over to the heat press and I'll press them down. So we'll do that right now. Okay, so they're all on here. I do have, you can purchase, these are some Teflon sheets that you can purchase from Amazon. Make it make it safe for the material. So I usually, and you don't have to do it when this little plastic part is on there, but I usually do anyway, just to make sure that nothing gets on to my heat press that I don't need it to. So I'll put that down. I have this set to about 300, and I'm going to press it for probably 12 seconds. That beep was my heat press telling me that the time is up. So what I do is I'll go ahead and I'll check these. This is like a hot, I guess a hot, you can buy these heat transfer vinyls where it's a hot peel or a cold peel, or either way. This one, I guess, is either way. The cold peel, you have to wait till they cool down before you can peel those up. But this one, you don't have to. You see some of it has come up. I'm gonna do a couple more presses. I think that should do it. Let them cool down a little bit, and then I'll show you, I'll put a popsicle in here and show you guys what they look like. And that's how you make personalized popsicle holders for the kids. The grandkids really loved them, and they helped so much whenever they were holding their popsicles. We didn't have to fight with the paper towels. We could just use those sleeves and put their popsicles in, and they loved having their own personalized with their names on it, as you could tell in the pictures. Don't forget to hit like down below and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Next week we will continue with the quilting. So this is just a little break from quilting. But also I do have a few new things on my website. So I'll put my website information down below, and if you want to check that out, then go ahead. And I don't have everything all situated on it yet, so there may be some things that's kind of weird, has some weird words. I haven't gotten every page done. But if you want to check it out in the meantime, go ahead. And I also have a freebie library. So if you put your name and email in, it's all over the front page, the home page of my website. It'll take you to the page for the freebie library. And it has really nice ebooks. There's some guides. There's some cool phone wallpapers that you can get for free. So go ahead and check that out, and I would really appreciate you subscribing to my newsletter. I usually send one of those out every week or two, just to chit chat about what I'm doing for the week. And I also put in some free patterns that I have found on the internet, so I put those in there as well. So I really appreciate it. Go ahead and check that out. I think next week I'll give you an overview. Hopefully I have a lot more on my site done. I'll give you an overview of where everything is and how to sign up for my newsletter. So thanks so much for watching.